want to get caught up debating what mad men or women do in case of murder, because crazy is crazy. Crazy is crazy. I'm not being disrespectful. I hope you realize that, or I don't intend to be. I'm trying to call it out for what it is. When we have people, 6 people losing their lives, being murdered, and that becomes an attack on our liberties, I want to keep my focus there because the Second Amendment is brought up, and this has been a key part of the president's agenda, our president, President Obama. And if it were a key part of a Republican president's agenda to restrict my Second Amendment rights and use tragedy to do so, I'd call him or her out as well. Okay? Just want you to know that. It's not about R's or D's, it's about accountability. So I moved to the focus of the warning signs, which there were many warning signs, and obviously that could be addressed. I moved to the fact that we have the strictest gun laws in California, and I think, well, what are they going after here? If they have the strictest gun laws, how are they going to spin this? How are they going to play this? Well, on MSNBC, they, as the headline reads from newsbusters.org, great organization, MSNBC panel uses Santa Barbara shooting to bash NRA and push war on women. Really? Well, Karen Finney, who is a former DNC spokesperson, had this to say on Sunday's edition of Disrupt. She is joined, by the way, by MSNBC contributor Jimmy Williams on the political side. And here she is speaking to what the attorney for the reported murderer's father said in blaming the NRA, which was a clip of Richard Martinez. And excuse me, this is, well, I actually don't even want to recognize that. That would be, but the father of the reported murderer also came out against or for gun control. And why am I not going to the parents and reactions to that? Because it's their grief and they're saying these things. I'm not going to hold them too much account because I realize they're grieving. They experienced great pain. But I will address what is commonly used by those advancing a political agenda from these tragedies. Do you see the distinction? Draw the line between the victims direct and the political folks who are taking that, running with it to advance their agenda. Roll it.
I do think that is part of the equation that we don't talk about enough, that people have got to learn to stand up to the NRA and have some courage.
Yes, they should. Not many profiles on courage in Congress these days, unfortunately. Something interesting has happened. The NRA has taken its focus off of the U.S. Congress. It's focused solely in the states. Georgia just passed its latest law allowing people to walk into a bar where you can buy alcohol as much as you'd like, and you can carry a gun into a church, et cetera, et cetera. This is why it's imperative, and I do not say this lightly. People are dead. But the bottom line is, if the Republicans take the Senate back in the fall, guess what's going to happen? The NRA is going to shift its focus from the states where it's already passed these crazy laws, and it's going to start asking the House and the Senate to do these kinds of things, a Republican House, a Republican Senate. The good news is we'll have Barack Obama to say no. That's the good news.
What happened when they passed that crazy kind of law in Virginia for conceal and carry? What happened? Oh, crime dropped 5.2%? Yeah. Statewide. Major crimes involving firearms at bars and restaurants statewide declined 5.2%. Crazy law, yeah. But that goes to what this is about. And as Daniel Greenfield points out in Front Page Mag, and I'll post this article on the Facebook, American Family Radio, Crane Durham's Nothing But Truth, either following the show or at the top of the hour. It's the best article I've read about the subject, read a lot of them. But he talks about the "you didn't do that" society, which is blaming, what is it, blaming white males now? I mean, pardon me, but again, this is baloney. This is nonsense. To try to take it away from the individual's responsibility, ascribe it to a particular group in order to advance an agenda that restricts more law-abiding citizens of their individual rights because they don't want to recognize the individual rights. And really, this goes to the meta conversation that we've had with the likes of Jerry Boyer. We're going to be talking to him on Friday at the top of the first hour about the fact of what statism is, which is not the state versus individual. It's actually state versus God. It's pushing God out, because God, if you recognize what makes us individuals, is the recognition of God and individual unique creations and being responsible for our life and our decisions, our responsibility. So we want to ascribe it to a general theme. I've never understood that, quite frankly. I've understood it in the political sense of being hijacked. I don't understand the left's apparent anger with the amount of money they pour into these types of moves to restrict our gun rights when the evidence is overwhelming that when you empower free people, law-abiding citizens, to use their Second Amendment rights, they will be safer. And it is the frustration of not recognizing and not realizing that individuals can be held to account for their own decisions. Also, that there is individual acts of madness that you're not going to be able to prevent a whole host of things. And in the case of the murders we saw out there, are they going to ban knives? I asked that after OJ. I was wondering where's the, knives, knife control. We got to stop that. No. It's absurd. And you will see the fact that when you look at the data, gun homicides were 10% higher in states with restrictive conceal and carry laws, according to a study spanning 30 years. We look at crime rates involving gun owners with carry permits have consistently been about 0.02% of carry permit holders since Florida's right to carry law started in 1988. After passing their concealed and carry law, Florida's homicide rate fell from 36% above the national average to 4% below. In Texas, the murder rate fell 50% faster than the national average the year after conceal and carry was passed. Rapes fell 93% faster in the first year of the conceal and carry enactment, and 500% faster in the second. Assaults fell 250%. I mean, I could go over data, but more guns, less crime, legal gun ownership, and you can check out the website of Gun Facts to get that, where they address these myths. Back to the issue. Remember, this is about the individual being responsible, and we do not have that. Well, I pray for the families. I pray for healing. Absolutely. I also pray that people don't try to hijack a particular argument to advance a cause, because the reality, the facts, the substance, they can't back it up. So what they have to do is say, if you oppose this gun legislation, you don't love children, or you're racist, or you hate grandmothers. It's the same stupid refrain time and time again. And you say, well, they don't really do that. Well, I got news for you. They do. And you're thinking, no way. Wayne, it's true. It's Pravda. I'll tell you why. Why don't we look at, we'll skip Michelle right now, our First Lady, and move to cut number 14. Here is an exchange between Senator Johnson and Senator Rockefeller. I played part of this for you last week, but this is about the substance of Obamacare, and it's pretty clear the results of Obamacare and the frustration with it. But here's the exchange that's been edited for time. Roll it.
Able to dig up some emails that make part of the Affordable Care Act that doesn't look good, especially from people who've made up their mind that they don't want it to work because they don't like the president. Maybe he's of the wrong color, something of that sort. I've seen a lot of that, and I know a lot of that to be true. It's not something you're meant to talk about in public, but it's something I'm talking about in public because that is very true. Senator Johnson, do you want to close her out here?
Oh, I absolutely do, Mr. Chairman. It was regrettable, and I would say it was offensive. Seems I'm the only one in the room here really talking about opposition, that you would play the race card, that you would say opposition to Obamacare necessarily must stream from some inherent racism. Very offensive. But listen, my opposition to health care has nothing to do with the race of President Obama. So no, I didn't object to this because of the race of the president. I objected to this because it is an assault on our freedom. And Mr. Chairman, I have to admit, I had a great deal of respect for you, but I'm the only one in the room, and I found it very offensive that you would basically imply that I'm a racist because I opposed this health care law. That is outrageous.
It is outrageous, but that's the refrain. You'll get that in economics. You'll get that with foreign policy. You'll get it in health care. And just so you know, if you consider yourself a leftist, I'm just exposing what those of you or the people that speak out politically for you have to resort to. Because what else are they going to point to? 0.1% growth in the economy? Well, what about premiums going up $2,500? 73% already had insurance. Not solving the problem that put out 3 times what you originally put out it would be, and the cost $900 billion. So, yeah, it's because you fail. Oh, or if you want to talk about corruption, persecution of conservative groups through the IRS. I mean, I got a lot of mo. Thank you, Mr. T. A lot of mo. Crane Durham's nothing but truth. Proudly on AFR Talk.